Chapter 1: Learning to Live Life with Joy as you homeschool your large family. We have all heard the encouragement, find joy in the journey. But what does it really mean, and how do we actually make that happen? Finding joy in the chaos of life is arguably the biggest part of the battle in raising and educating children in large families. This book is written in a concise and easy-to-read manner by a homeschool mom for the homeschool mom. The design is to give you 101 tips to guide you through the everyday, both seemingly mundane and details. Be encouraged with the truths you already know and need to remember. Find a tip or two that will change your life. Through these chapters, we will explore practical ways to embrace the possibility of joy, being the main emotion in homeschooling. We will look at both mental and physical aspects so that on this journey of homeschooling your large family, your hearts and minds will be able to rejoice at the privilege, and even on your worst day, your joy will not be able to be taken from you. I encourage you to remember that joy is a choice we make in a moment-to-moment basis, and the tools I will give you will help you to make that choice. Finding and choosing to hold on to joy while keeping your mind right and embracing a few practical tools that work for you and your family will make homeschooling more like the journey you long for it to be. As Henry J.M. Nouwen, a wise old Catholic priest, once said, "Joy does not simply happen to us. We have to choose joy and keep choosing it every day." There is so much wisdom in remembering that as we educate and raise our children, we have to not only remember to daily choose joy, but to keep choosing it in the moments of disappointment, stress, and chaos. Finding joy in the chaos of everyday life of large family homeschooling has been one of my greatest journeys. Here are some quotes that are nice to have around the house to keep your focus and perspective joyful. Find out where joy resides and give it a voice far beyond singing. For to miss the joy is to miss all. By Robert Louis Stevenson. Joy is a decision, a really brave one, about how you are going to respond to life. By Wes Stafford. The joy we feel has little to do with the circumstances of our lives, and everything to do with the focus of our lives. By Russell M. Nelson. Tip number 1: shift your mindset. If you change the way you look at things, the things you look at change. Wayne Dyer. First things first, it all starts in your mind. Your thoughts control your feelings and actions. If you are constantly thinking about how you wish you could be doing something other than homeschooling your children, then you will be bitter and irritated toward them. If you are bitter and irritated toward them, then you are more likely to cultivate an atmosphere of frustration in your home. If you are frustrated, then so is your toddler. And if you have a frustrated toddler, then working on pre-algebra with your tween is going to be a real challenge. You know the idea about how one stone thrown into a pond creates a ripple effect, all the way to the edge of the pond? It's the same with our attitudes. When we throw around irritation in our home, the ripple effects work its way through the rest of the pond. When you get your mind right, you will be surprised at how much good will fall into place. Focus on joy and living life to the fullest. Remember, life is short, and the time you will spend with your children is even shorter. No day is promised to you. No day is promised to your children. There will be days you are so frustrated you want to pull your hair out. Your children will be ungrateful and disrespectful at times. When your mindset is focused on the long term and holds tight to how fast life passes by, you will be able to smile even on the worst days. You are giving your children the best education for their future. They are your children and you know them best. Embrace the opportunity you have to educate them and enjoy the journey you are on with your children. Tip number 2: remember, it's a privilege. Life is a gift, and it offers us the privilege, opportunity, and responsibility to give something back by becoming more. Tony Robbins. Over the years, we have handed the education of our children over to the government and educated teachers to teach the masses. There has been both success and failure in the government model of education. If life is a gift and homeschooling is a privilege, then every day you and I have the opportunity and responsibility To not only give something amazing to our children, but to become to wives, moms, and educators we were actually created to be. It's amazing. We can actually use our jobs as mothers and home educators to make us better humans, using every opportunity to grow and become more. If you get to educate your children, you have to remember you are privileged. You are privileged to have the time and the resources. You are also privileged to be living in a day and age where the opportunities and curricula available to you far exceed the quality and choice they ever have in the history of education. With the technology and online presence there is today, homeschoolers have every opportunity at success in education. Google defines privilege as a special right, advantage, or immunity granted to a particular person or group. Because as a society we outsourced education of our children to schools and teachers, we often forget what a privilege parents have to be able to manage our children's education. You not only have the advantage of the right to choose what they learn and how they learn it for the benefit of their futures and careers, but you have the advantage of also being able to impact their character, worldview, and work ethic as you take the driver's seat in planning and executing the path of education for each child in your family's future. It is a privilege to get to personalize the education systems you use for each of your children. It is a privilege to be able to set the pace, or even let your child set the pace for their education based on their strengths, weaknesses, and abilities. As you are learning or reaffirming your already established habits of right thinking as far as homeschooling your large family is concerned, use the word privilege in your mind, and even out loud with your children, family, and friends. The way we think and speak about the education process changes the fabric of the outcome. Tip number 3, you will never get this time back. Quote, "Don't watch the clock, do what it does, keep going." Sam Levinson. Recently, my husband and I looked at old pictures from when we first became parents over a decade ago. As we looked at our oldest son, so tiny and new, our eyes filled with tears thinking of how quickly time has passed. We couldn't help but think of our many failures over the years. We told little stories of the remember whens. Have you ever been there? It's funny how you can watch the minutes tick by slowly with such a strong anticipation for bedtime. The double-edged sword of time is sharp when it comes to your children. Years start to feel like they are passing in moments, and in what seems like such a short period of time, you are staring at teenagers wondering how you ever ended up so old. You will never look back on the extra time you spent educating your children and regret a single moment. This perspective is life-changing. I can't say it's going to make you any happier with the random old woman who tells you how much you're going to miss this while your 2-year-old is screaming in Target. But I guarantee when you get your thoughts right about this, it will change both your heart and your actions. This time is more than valuable, it's precious. When you can learn to see every history lesson and every science experiment as an opportunity to spend time with your children and get to know them better, it helps keep time in a positive perspective. Any large family homeschooling mom knows that 5 minutes can feel like 3 hours when a student is struggling with a concept, and a day can go by so fast when the demands of multiple children overwhelm the education process. Perspective is everything. Every day is a day you will not be able to have again. Remember, your days are not wasted, and you will not get the time back from yesterday. So embrace your moments. Moments turn into days quickly, and even though some days feel so long, the years are short. Tip number 4, ask for forgiveness. Quote, "Love is an act of endless forgiveness, a tender look which becomes a habit." Peter Ustinov. Whenever I see the word habit, I remember that good characteristics sometimes take time. Then I sigh and try not to be so hard on myself. Maybe you need that too. Wouldn't it be amazing to live in a home where when children wronged us with their disrespect or defiance, we immediately forgave and gave a tender look? As mothers, especially homeschooling mothers, We are going to fail sometimes. Even the best of humans have failed many times before they have found success. Thankfully for us large family parents, we get a few extra children to keep trying when we mess up the first couple. Seriously though, when we fail, the best thing we can do for our children is to ask for forgiveness. They are so forgiving and they love us so much. Cultivating an attitude that is quick to forgive will benefit not only your relationship with them, but all their future relationships. It will even help with the sibling dynamic and family relations. Children who are quick to forgive will eventually fight less and be more peacemaking than troublemaking, which is great for homeschooling multiple ages and subjects. I remember a really difficult year in math. My oldest was multiplying and dividing fractions, and he was struggling. We happen to work in mastery-based math programs, so when something challenging comes up in the workbook, we really have to bear down until the concept is perfected. Well, every day it was like we had to start over. My sweet boy did not get it. Like at all. And he really wasn't being very sweet about it. One morning I just lost it. I yelled something along the lines of how this was ruining my morning and I was wasting my life. Of course, I immediately regretted it, but it was too late. Even though he had been being crabby and awful in his frustration, I had completely deflated his hope of ever being good at fractions. I had failed as his teacher and his mom. So, I hugged my boy and not only apologized, but also asked him to forgive me. He did. We took a short break and started over. I share this story with you even though it's not a proud moment, because we have to remember that humbling ourselves and our failures to our children is imperative in moving forward with them in joy, grace, and peace and educating them. We are going to fail. We have to learn to at least recover well. It's what we want from them too, so we should example it to them. Learn to ask for forgiveness. Teaching your children to have a forgiving heart will be an asset in both life and education. Tip number 5. Don't compare yourself to other moms. You're at the start of something great. Don't let another person's progress discourage you. Social media has changed the game of parenting, hasn't it? We can see what the world, particularly other moms, are doing and how they are doing it, and how clean their house is, and how well dressed their children are. And if we fall into the trap of comparing ourselves to other people's journeys, then we will be overwhelmed at best and deeply anxious at worst. Though it's tempting to compare yourself to Instagram moms, don't do it. In today's world of Facebook and Instagram, we know more about people than we ever have. But we really only know what they show us, and social media doesn't always paint a completely accurate picture. Some days we are amazing. Some days we fail at everything. We all feel the same about it, so don't compare. Use your strengths to help moms who are weak in your good areas. Reach out to moms who are better than you in certain areas of education or parenting, so you can glean from their knowledge. Learn to relish in what other women have to offer, and seek to learn and understand what you don't already. Be content with who you are, but willing to grow and change and be better. It should also be noted to not compare your children to other people's children either. You are homeschooling for a reason, and hopefully one of those reasons is to let your child progress at the pace that is best suited for them, to get the best education. It's not a race, and it's not necessarily to compare your children to others, though it's tough not to sometimes. Your child's progress isn't always a reflection of your teaching. It's not even always a reflection of anything you have done or not done. Side note disclaimer: you have a responsibility as a mother and a teacher to each of your children individually. When you have a large family, it is possible that an easy child can slip through the cracks of even the most attentive mom. Being able to give an honest assessment of how you are doing in life without being too hard on yourself or too easy on yourself is crucial. That is why comparing yourself can be so dangerous. Not everyone has the same goals. Not all parents are given the same strengths. And not all children are meant to come out of their education the same. It's contrary to what the culture teaches, but it's true. Tip number 6. Work toward improvement like you would with any other job. Successful people are not gifted, they just work hard, then succeed on purpose. G.K. Nelson. Dream big, stay positive, work hard, and enjoy the journey. Uriah Faber. Homeschooling is hard work. Homeschooling multiple ages and grade levels in different subjects takes a dedication and work ethic only mothers have. It's important we want what God wants for our children, that we stay positive in the day-to-day and enjoy the process that will get us having educated and raised fully functional, kind, and loving members of society. The one comment I get more than others is, "I don't know how you do it." I often ask the person what they do for work. At my age, they generally have been in their industry at least 10 years and have a pretty good handle on their job. So I dig a bit into their job history. Are you better now at your job than you were the first day? Since the answer is generally yes, it's easy to lead the conversation into how we get better as parents and teachers too. Think about it. Every year you are with the same children who you are around more than anyone else on earth. Get to know your children. Listen to them. Do research on their learning styles. Do what you have to do to get better at your job. You would if you were getting paid commission, and in a way you are getting a better return on your investment the more you put into your training too. Ask for feedback from your family and friends. Ask your children to give you an evaluation. If you are serious about being the best you can be at your job as a homeschooling mother, then ask your husband what areas of weakness he sees in you. I know it's scary, but we can learn so well from how others see us, and we can improve our weak areas. You will also be encouraged by all the good people see in you. On those hard days, you can focus on the good you do already, and when things seem nice and easy, you can look for areas to improve. Don't stop when you're tired. Stop when you're done. Mike Ross. You are running a marathon, Mama. Keep going. Tip number 7. Add 10-minute tidies. Stopping life for 10 minutes to tidy up the house will create a peace in the minds of those in the home who find clutter overwhelming and chaotic. Nicole Perry. This is my gold nugget. I know it's tossed you at the middle of a chapter full of life-altering suggestions, but if I'm losing you, get back on board now. I don't know what kind of woman you are. Are you a Martha running around like a chicken with her head cut off? Or are you a Mary who can sit and enjoy life with a dirty house piling up around her? Either way, this is going to save you if you don't do it already. I'm sure you've been there. You take a bit of extra time before bed to get the house in order for the next day's rituals. Maybe it's even a perfect scenario and the husband has helped with the cleaning after he put the children to bed. You go to bed with the peaceful knowledge that you are going to wake up to the same clean house you went to bed to, and because of your great success, you have a glorious day of educating your children to look forward to. But maybe you, like me, have a toddler. Perhaps you wake up to find a whole box of Cheerios spilled on the kitchen floor, and your child spread out on his belly, licking them off the ground. On his way to the kitchen, said toddler somehow managed to knock every book off the shelf and dump out an entire toy bin. Are you going to let this ruin your day? You better not! Instill the 10-minute tidy and pick 3 times a day to gather everyone to tidy for a solid 10 minutes. Set a timer. Stop at 10 minutes. Make sure everyone is working hard. Now, if your children work diligently for 10 minutes and you have a large family, you are going to be in a much better place. Some days you can even swing a vacuum, sweep, or a quick bathroom wipe down, depending on the mess and the age of your children. It's great because your family can get so much done in 10 minutes. But your children know there is an end, and 10 minutes is a reasonable amount of time to do something you hate. If they finish the areas you want tidied in less than 10 minutes, give them those couple extra moments to do what they want. Don't make them dive right back into their schoolwork. If you are the kind of mother who needs life picked up off the floor, this is going to be a game changer for you. If you are a bit more like me who doesn't really care, it's a great way to make sure you are teaching your children good habits, cultivating them yourself, and taking care of your home in a way that doesn't enslave you to your house. You might even find a child or two who works better in a tidy environment. There is also a pick up 10 rule I love in our house. If you leave something out, it's usually shoes or a math workbook, then you have to pick up 10 things in the house. The 10 things rule is great when you don't want to use up 10 minutes with cleaning, but everyone needs a quick break. Everyone pick up 10 things, put them away, and then head outside for a break. It's a win-win. Tip number 8. Choose a routine over a schedule. You'll never change your life until you change something you do daily. The secret of your success is found in your daily routine. John C. Maxwell. It's tempting sometimes to envy the mothers of 2 school-aged children, exactly 3 years apart, who are actually able to logistically keep a schedule. But let's be honest. If you are a large family homeschooler, a schedule just probably isn't going to work for you. There are too many interruptions. Just the nursing breaks and toddler fiascos alone are enough to throw off even the best schedule before you've even finished breakfast. Honestly, I'm not a schedule type of person myself, but with my brood of 8 children, if I didn't have some sort of routine, we'd never get anything done. What's the difference between a routine and a schedule, you ask? Basically, it's just time slots. Instead of the old 8 to 9, we are going to be doing XYZ. We just have an order to things. Wake up, take care of duties, and then we start school. As the chaos of the day ensues, you will have set yourself up to not panic. There will be no irritation with missing time slots or having to cut lessons short. But you will just move forward in your routine, finishing when your subjects are completed, without the worry and bondage a hard schedule creates. You can set timers if you can get past the interruptions, meaning you really had less time for the lessons. Our routine works like this: morning duties, breakfast with Bible and character studies, morning lessons, lunch, afternoon readings, handicrafts, free time. We'd like to be done with our core subjects by noon and spend our afternoons on more fun educational activities, afternoon chores, or just free time. If it has really been a bad day, then I also add a good literature book on audio or play classical music and talk about the composer to add more education to the day. Afternoons also are great times for weekly studies in nature and science experiments. When you have nursing babies, toddlers, or even just school-aged children alongside teenagers, keeping life in nice, neat little time slots isn't always possible. But when you have a routine that is enjoyable, but still defines what the outline of the day is, then there are expectations balanced with flexibility. Tip number 9, prep for Mondays. Your Monday morning thoughts set the tone for the whole week. See yourself getting stronger and living a fulfilling, happier, and healthier life. Germany, Kent. Monday is a fresh start. It's never too late to dig in and begin a new journey of success. Unknown. Why does everybody hate Mondays? I adore Mondays. It's like life's little do-over every 7 days. When Monday goes well, the week goes well. So I believe it's wise to take a bit of time to prepare. On Sunday, I rest and mentally prepare for the week, which means if there are things to take care of, I get them done on Saturday. Even if you have failed, have been lazy, or just had a crummy last week of homeschooling, Mondays are fresh starts for everyone in the home. Do the one thing you always want to do. I don't know what that is for your family, but maybe it's getting up a bit early and serving a hot breakfast before lessons. Maybe it's actually starting with a Bible reading and prayer. Maybe it's just not waking up yelling at a child who woke you up. Only you can really assess what will make your Mondays better. But you can do it, whatever it is. I have found if my Monday is good, then the rest of the week flows well. So I work hard to prep my Monday to flow well, even if that is just getting my mind right and getting a bit of extra sleep. One year, we did a drop of co-op on Mondays that started at 10:30. I was amazing. I did literature, history, character, and Bible with my children over breakfast. And then they went to vendor-paid classes for a few hours and participated in STEM science, Spanish, and art history. I managed grocery shopping with the 3 youngest, while my top 5 went to classes, and the week started off lovely. It was this amazing way to get them back into the school mindset without us all hating life. So, what can you do to mentally prepare for Mondays? Get your mind right. Make sure your perspective and mindset are focused long term. Give yourself a big attagirl for the last several weeks and years of getting it done. This is where you get your mind right so that you can get your game face on for Monday. Write out your goals for the week. This is a fancy to-do list. I like to add a couple extra items to my list I really want to do, but never seem to make it happen. I also ask children and hubby if there are any real important matters to them in the week. Being blindsided on a Monday can quickly ruin your day and week, but knowing the plan on Sunday after your perspective is right keeps you on the right track. Other great ideas for making Mondays great? Make it your field trip day of the week. Do Monday morning lessons at the park and then have lunch after. Make Mondays a day you stay home and bake, serve, or prep a great meal with your children. Make Monday your elective day: art, music, horseback riding lessons, etc. Tip number 10. Don't forget to serve. The best way to find yourself is to lose yourself in the service of others. Gandhi. Serving others has so many benefits for you as a woman, a parent, and a home educator. Serving is a lost art, and we see the negative effects of the loss throughout the self-serving community we live in today. In a world where people feel lost and desperate, do not lose the opportunity to make people feel loved and worthy. Raising children who know they were created to be a functioning part of a community feels like an effortless task some days, but it's a way to leave a legacy that will benefit generations to come. Benefits of serving include teaching life skills. Learning to cook and clean for others can make the mundane more bearable for you and your children. Teaching compassion. When people are sick or hurting, we can serve them with genuine concern for their well-being. Community involvement. Being part of the change for the better in this world is something we should not only strive to have, but strive to teach our children. Being involved in the community is a way to bring worthwhile optimism to the world. Cultivates a giving attitude. When you are giving, you aren't thinking about yourself, and that is always a good thing. Spreads love. When you give and serve, others are encouraged by your attitude and actions. Not only are you setting a great example for humanity, but also increasing the number of people on this earth who will have compassion and cultivate community. Offers purpose and a sense of satisfaction. Life is crazy challenging, and there seems to be fewer and fewer opportunities to really offer a sense of worth to people these days. But there is something about doing something that helps another human and getting nothing in return that really solidifies a sense of purpose and satisfaction you can't find anywhere else. Leads to longer life. This is debatable, but people are saying serving others can lead to amazing health benefits like lower blood pressure and reducing stress. Improves mental health. Because serving others is also attributed to more happiness, less stress, and your mental well-being obviously improves as a natural result. Here is a list of 10 ways to serve even if you have young children. Number 1, take a meal to someone sick or a family with a new baby. Number 2, make cards for neighbors. If you are feeling really ambitious, bake a treat or casserole to go with it. Number 3, make a card and gift for the mailman and/or postal workers. Number 4, DoorDash a coffee to a tired mama. Number 5, Instacart groceries to a family who serves faithfully at your church or job. Number 6, pick up a couple other children on your way to the park to give another mom a break. Number 7, host an online fundraiser for an organization you support of a family in need. Number 8, write letters to people in nursing homes. Number 9, have a day you head out to pick up trash. Number 10, bake something and take it to a fire or police stations. Call first, though we have done this many times. Once we went to the police station that said they could not accept homemade goods. My boys were crushed and a bit embarrassed, but we all survived the event. Tip number 11. Learn to rest every day. Rest when you need to, but never quit. John Wooden. Years ago, I was a children's leader for an organization named Bible Study Fellowship. The training and commitment to be in leadership with this organization was intense. It was an extra day of prayer and going over the lesson and then the actual day I served. The structure of the 2 hours we had the children was laid out pretty specifically. We had to include certain main criteria for the program, but we had a bit of freedom with the order of events. One of the time slots that had to be filled was quiet time. It was a time where we laid out tiny blankets for the children, and they laid on their area and were completely quiet and reflected on the lesson the teacher had taught them that morning. It was amazing to watch a room full of 13 3-year-olds lay quietly for 5 minutes. At the time, I had one 3-year-old and couldn't manage it at all. There is something to be said about a quiet few moments of rest and quiet. Sitting and reflecting in the afternoon before the business of making dinner and evening activities is a privilege homeschoolers have. Generally, school is completed early afternoon. Enacting a quiet time in your home for everyone cultivates an attitude of rest that releases irritation, brings peacefulness to your heart, and refreshes your soul. With small children, I just sit down with a book or a notepad myself, and then ask them to grab a book. Sometimes I read to the tiny ones or listen to school-aged children read. Sometimes we all just sit there doing a quiet activity for a little while before a baby starts to cry. Daily rest is a beautiful habit to teach your children, and it starts in your home. Tip number 12. Learn to rest once a week. Now rest. Tomorrow be strong. Unknown author. Give yourself the freedom to take a day of rest. As a mother of a large family, even if you are extremely intentional about this, you will not get to completely rest, but give it a go. Just like with physical exercise, regular life needs a bit of a break every week too. Saturdays can be nuts, especially if you have multiple children in sports all across the county. It's really easy to let a busy weekend spiral you into an awful week. Let's face it, we stay super busy these days, and some days are more difficult than others to get things done. You have to see the end game on this to get on board. You work a little harder Saturday afternoon and evening, and then Sunday you rest and get ready for Monday. I hate meal planning, but I even make sure I at least know we have food to eat on Monday. That does mean that sometimes we hit the grocery store on Sunday, but no chores at home. If you make sure dinner is in the Instant Pot or Crock Pot early in the day, you can ensure a low-maintenance evening. The best part is your entire family will look forward to the day of rest and family time. It will become a part of your routine your entire family looks forward to, and if they want it, they are more likely to joyfully help you with what needs to get done on Saturday. Here are a few tips to how to actually get to rest on Sunday. Take an extra 15 minutes on Saturday night to clean. Make sure you have meat to throw in the crock pot. Plan a simple dinner or prep everything before Sunday. Tell your family we are going to have a rest day, so they know to expect little to nothing from you. Read, play games, or watch a movie as a family.